Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build the model kit and hang out with you all. If you're a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Moat. Dirty already starting in here with asking me to play the soundboard. So here's your soundboard, which is... Yeehaw! It's a stream, indeed. Thank you very much, Harold, for hosting. Thank you for Dirty for using your Bear Cave points there for that. Thank you all for being here. Ultron, and Dirty, and Harold, Jam's here. We're hopefully going to get a few more folks joining us. I don't know if we will. Before we get into the kicking off in high gear, the pre-show. But yes, as Ultron says, F for your poor clipper. Snipper clips are gone. These were the original clippers I bought for the stream. They are well worn and well used. Like you can see this orange here. I don't know if you can tell, especially with the green screen stuff, is different than that. These were worn down. They were well worn and well used snippers. Yeah, today I was doing some cleaning. And I have a stack of, trees of spruce on Craigslist to be gently used. Yes, Ultron, indeed. So these, these trees, when you're removing an item from them, you don't have to put much pressure on it. You don't have to. You just have to use some precision or whatever. The thing is that these don't do great in a trash bag. They just poke or whatever. So normally I will just snap them, but sometimes when you're snapping them, a fragment will fly off, and then you gotta go get it, or maybe it will hit you in the face, and you'll feel embarrassed. So I was using my clippers to clip a bunch of them, and then I just went crunch, and a thing flew, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And then I looked, and it was a part of my snippers. That ain't right. So I have ordered new clippers that will arrive tomorrow, so Monday I'll be fine. Today, we will struggle with a combination of scissors, just not great, very poor scissors, and tweezer or pliers that have a wire cutting component. You can see that there. That'll clip. That's not going to be great for most things. These are not going to be great. These are not going to be great. But also, we're going to be building things slowly tonight because we're working on the FD3S, or 3S, I should say. We're building a car. We're building a model kit of a real car, as is seen by the Red Suns in Initial D, the anime. So it's an anime build, but it's also a real car build, which means that it's a glue kit, which is terrifying. Glue kits are terrifying because we are using liquid cement. And that's terrifying for me because the amount of drying and the pressure you need to put on and just hoping that everything works out and the extreme use of tweezers that is necessary for this to work, and all of those things is just stressful. I don't know who bought this for me. Thank you for buying this off my wish list, but also damn you for buying this off my wish list because now I gotta build it. And we will, and we'll do a good job with it. I'm gonna retweet. I'm working on this. And yeah. All right, let's go to the overhead. I hope everyone's having a great Saturday night. I'm doing all right. I'm bummed about this. So yes, we got some components here. Actually, I'm going to let's zoom in more than normal. Let me configure some video here, and we're going to zoom in more than we normally do because that will be better for building. So we'll just zoom in, and then we'll just pull everything back here and allow us to do that. Hopefully it won't be as difficult since you did one before. Yeah, so Ultron, That's a fair point. I do have experience now. I have done one glue kit build before, so I am feeling a little more confident because at least I have an understanding of how the cars come together. Um, I I don't, I do not, I stress this. I'm not an expert. So, things to look at, especially if you did not see my builds previously. Um, as you can see here, we've got our booklet here. Not too much information in there, directions in there, all in Japanese. Obviously, these were not released in the United States. Um, but there is some English in it, which is helpful. The number one thing you need to look at is you don't worry about any of the H numbers. Good evening, Epic Open World. Welcome to this build stream. You don't worry about anywhere where it says H, because that's just telling you what color to paint it, which is nice if you want to put some paint on this kit. We're not going to worry about that. What we're looking for is this symbol right there. There is a symbol, there we go, that basically has a line through it that means don't glue here. So everywhere you don't see that, you glue, which means that we are not gluing these two components together. But we are going to glue this component to the outside of this. So it's just stuff like that. We're just like, as we go, we are going to learn how things work and do an assembly. And I'm going to do my best to explain things as I'm doing them. No, so this is not this is not a kit that was released with a version in the United States. There is some English in it, but Initial D, while it did do well in its dub, certainly it did well internationally, didn't necessarily do as a banger job as far to the point where they were reproducing their kits internationally. Just didn't happen that way, but which is okay. Lashbrook's here. Hi, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here. So, our first bit of glue is, so we don't do glue there, we don't do glue there, we do glue here. So, now, I'm going to keep saying glue. It's not glue. This is not glue. This is liquid cement. Back in my day, we didn't use liquid cement when we were doing these kind of kits, but times have changed. So we're going to take this here. I really appreciate that our first bit of glue, our liquid cement, is just adhering this knob here, which is going to be part of the frame. A wheel is going to attach to this. So this piece we want stable because we're not going to be gluing the wheel to this. So we want when the wheel comes off, we don't want this little piece of white plastic to come off as well. Yes, it is not glue, Epic Open World. I will continue to say glue because liquid cement and adhesive are not necessarily what I want to say. Adhesive is probably a fine term. Liquid cement is just a mouthful. Glue is in good parlance for this. So technically what we were doing is this liquid here is causing a chemical reaction in which actually the top layers of plastic of whatever it's touching are melting, and then the reaction kind of ends and they have melted together. We are adhering them together. We are fusing them together. It is, in some parlance, you could call it a fusion dance, which is pretty neat. I am no expert when it comes to this. I may fuck this up. There were some fuck ups in the AE86 that we built, certainly. And there could be some fuck ups in this as well. So we are just going to apply. One thing that I ran into with the AE86 is that the drivetrain kept coming off, and I kept having to redo it because I would put too much pressure on it as I was moving things around. Also, fuck ups give a character, right? Also, I should stress as well, I don't know a lot about cars. I know how to change oil. I know how to change a tire. I know things about engines, but I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. So I may say a term and make you laugh. Jam, I believe this is a 124 scale. Is that right? I forget what scale this is. If anybody remembers, let me know. But I believe this is a 124, is what they say, because it's a car into a car. It's not like the 1/100 scale kits that we are building, because we're building Gundams. So, also, I like that we start here with this because it involves steps that don't involve liquid cement and just things being held together. There's actually some snapping involved in this part, which is good for my mental condition. Speaking of mental stuff, I'm reeling today. You got your dipstick, engine crank, gas nozzle, tail hole. Yeah. You know it, Ultron. So, a thing happened today that is unrelated to my poor snipper clips finally breaking. As I said, I got a cheap ass pair. I still had some money left on a gift card. I got a cheap ass pair that are being delivered tomorrow because I bought a pair that are being fulfilled here in New York. So they're just coming from New York, which is perfect for me. Okay. Wheels. I had a Skype interview today for a job. It was an exploratory interview. And the interview went fine. It was a fine interview. Like the content of us talking to one another went seemingly okay. That there was no problem there. But at the end of it, the person I was talking to, was kind of just like saying like, oh yeah, changing careers, changing jobs, that's rough. That's tough. Like it's hard when you're you've been around for a block and you've worked a bunch of years to suddenly do that. I feel you. What you might want to try to do is get a loan and go back to school and learn to code. An adult who I could see their face, who was not an anonymous person talking to a games journalist, told me to learn to code. Whoo! So that fucking happened today. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, right? Yeah. That's a thing that happened to me. So, oof is right. Oofa doofa. I can't fucking, I was like, huh. Thanks so much for your time. Right? I don't know. I wanted to say something like, Zorbs. Hi, Zorbs. First of all, hi, Zorbs. Second of all, okay, so this is what happened, Zorbs. I had a Skype interview with someone for a job. And we were talking kind of casually as it wrapped up. And, it's outside my normal wheelhouse, so my resume doesn't quite look up to snuff, but my other experiences, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm going for with that. And this person who was interviewing me was basically like, well, what you might want to do is, since you're trying to get a new career, is go back to school and learn to code. Now, were they being malicious, or are they just a dumb internet person? I don't know. They didn't, they weren't if they were being malicious, they were not confident in their maliciousness. because they did not make it clear that they were being malicious. All right, so we're going to put some stuff here on this. We might want to scuff this up if the tire does not adhere properly, but I am not worried about the tires coming off on this kit. Let's put a little glue here on the rubber. No problems at all. We don't have to go crazy with it. We'll just do that. Because I'm also fine if the tire pops off, because how would it? I'm not worried about that. But yeah. So that happened. Yikes indeed, says Zorbs. Yikes indeed. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it happened, and I was ready to tweet, and I was like, I'm not going to tweet. I'm going to sit in this for a second. I'm going to let this go. I don't know how to tweet about what just happened here, so I'm just going to let it go, and I'll deal with it later. And later is now, because what the fuck? Because, like, if they're being malicious, it's like, okay, well, you win. You told an adult person a dumb internet thing. A thing you say to people who you think are either going to lose their jobs because of the economy or are going to get fired soon. So they better learn to code now. Oh, they want us to build the other tires now as we're building these two. So we'll build our other tires now. But yeah, it was shitty. Really zapped my confidence today. Took a real nosedive as I was prepping for some stuff going on next week. Hey, it's not all bad because both of my panels got accepted to PAX East. I'm doing improvised postmortem, and I'm doing Pat Baer's Anime Club, yelling about the shows we love. I've got to make sure I say the title right. So I'm doing 2 panels at PAX East. I'm also on Hidden Gems, which is a cool panel, and I might be on something else, which I don't know right now. But I am definitely on 2 panels that I'm running, and then a third one that I'm on. Improvised Postmortem will be streamed. You can watch it live, and then, of course, I'll put an archive on my YouTube. Ultron, thank you very much. And then Pat Baer's Anime Club will be filmed. It will not be streamed, unfortunately, but it will be filmed. And then that will be like the episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club. Like, it'll be the next episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club. I'll just make that video, which is just easy for me to do. But I'm excited for that. So I can tell you a couple people that are involved. I'll start making announcements next week, but I might as well say that there's going to be some loading ready run folks at my panels again. We're finally starting to be able to collaborate in ways that are really fun for me personally. But Graham Stark and Ben Omer are going to be doing improvised postmortem, along with, so far confirmed, Dave Lang and Trin Garitano will also be performing. And then right now, I can say that Jake Burgess, voice actor, will be on the anime panel. More to be confirmed soon. I got a big ask that I'm making of someone to try to get them to come to PAX East in order to do my panel, even if it's for I have literally offered someone that I will pay for their train ride to and from PAX so that they can come please be on my anime panel. I do not know if they will. We are in negotiations. But yeah, Jacob rules. And I basically pitched semi-pitched the panel like during. If you saw improvised postmortem from PAX Unplugged, I was kind of like pitching that panel, or the concept of said panel, and Jacob was just like, "I want to do it." So, unfortunately, Beej is going to be at PAX South. I mean, good for PAX South that Beej is going to be at PAX South, but he's not going to be at PAX East because I uh, I asked both Beej and Heather if they were going to be there, and they are not. But Ben's going to do his first PAX East, so luckily I can get Ben for that show, and yeah. I am reaching out to a few folks that I'm hearing now are going to PAX East. Uh, um, it is a shame. Yeah, not only because Beach is great and it's just fun, but also because Beach. Look, the next time that he and I are at the same convention, if I could get Pat Bear's Anime Club approved, then I'll have him do it. Um, but yeah, that's the thing. I'm excited about that. I am trying to reach out. I'm trying to find out. Like, actually, one of my goals is to pull someone from the Diversity Lounge at PAX East, uh, and pull someone in as an anime fan to make sure that we're continuing to broaden it. And not to say that, like, oh, I need somebody to talk about queer anime shows, because guess what? I'll do that. You got no problem. I got no problem recommending good shit. But like, different perspectives and different likes. A thing I learned is that, like, so in prepping for the Anime Awards, which is in February, legitimately I heard of an anime I hadn't heard of. There's some anime with like maidens in the name. It's already escaped me. It starts with it's like, oh, maidens of whatever, and it's like nominated. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And I think it's just like a high school drama show, but I've never heard of it and have no connection to it. And I was just like, oh wow, yeah, I gotta broaden my shit out sometimes when it comes to just knowing about uh, anime that's out there. Um, but it should be good. Oh, I didn't even say. Corey from Loading Ready Run will be doing my anime panel. So Corey and Jacob are my confirmed guests for that, and I'll have at least one more, and then myself. I feel like I need to have a few people because, like, I know that I can rant for a really long time about things, but like, I have to give it up. I have to give my guests both an opportunity to rant and to plead their case of the show that they want us to know about, but also I need to recognize that, like, maybe they don't want to talk, like they're going to run out of things to say about a topic. All right, so I think I don't know which one to do first. I don't know if I want to connect these together, or if I want to put the wheels on first. I'm going to put the wheels on first because we're not going to glue the wheels on, so I can always take the wheels off if there's an issue. But I like the flexibility of, no, I don't want to do that then. That just covers it. That seems weird. All right, let me put this on and not use glue, and then I'll take a look at it. I won't glue these on. I'm just going to attach this to this and see how it looks. Just got up there and yell, anime is great. Have to cut out through the wave. Yeah, no, but I got to give content. I look, obviously, am I going to have enough things to say? Certainly I'll have plenty to say about the shows that I want people to know about, but, like, I'm hoping it'll be a really fun time and people will enjoy it. Okay, so this is gonna look like this. and these are going to here. So we'll do this first, and then we will, then after we've adhered those, we'll put the wheels on. After that. Okay, so we'll do that. All right. But yeah. No, so the video will be out for my patrons, $5, $10 patrons, tomorrow, and then everybody else on Monday. I went through all the categories for the Anime Awards, which are run by Crunchyroll, but feature anime as long as it was in the U.S., as long as it showed up in the U.S. in some form. Features anime from everything from Prime to Funimation to Hulu to Netflix. It does range the gambit. It's not just Crunchyroll shows, which is nice because they totally could do the Crunchyroll Awards, and where they just highlighted their shows from the season that they thought was good, and like they could do that. Oh, I'm not supposed to shit. I'm not supposed to glue this. I am not supposed to glue this. I just realized. I saw the arrow here telling me I didn't see that arrow. So I am not supposed to glue those together, which means that we will just let this sit for a little while. No need to stress. We'll just put the wheels on here. That doesn't look right, though. Did I mess up the wheel? No. W1. That's what this was, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, trying to figure out if something went wrong or weird. Sorry, let me just, as always, I am not as confident with this as I would like to be. This went like this. This goes like this. So it went like that. And then they slip down. Yeah, so sorry, folks. Things are gonna, things will be a little weird with this build as I kind of figure out how things work and what I'm supposed to be doing with this kit. As I kind of just, figure things out. Yeah, so that's the inside one. Goes into the wheel. That has to go to that. Alright, that should be dry enough that it won't stick. I have to be very careful about this, about the glue, and making sure that I am only gluing the right things. I think what's supposed to happen is that this is supposed to be lined up like this, and then goes into the wheel as well. The wheel well. Haha! The wheel well as well! Wordplay! That's accidental wordplay, everybody. That's accidental wordplay. Okay, yeah, and then it's going to be underneath. Okay, I get it. Alright. Okay. Here we go. And then this goes like this. I'm getting it, folks. Don't worry. I'm understanding. We put some wheels on. Alright, look at those wheels. Heck yeah. Wheels. That's step 2. It's been 30 minutes. I think I'm going to... The hope is... I don't want to say think. The hope is that I'm going to get more confident as we do this. Because I've only done this once before. And also things will be better on Monday when I have my snippers. And I'm not using scissors and to remove things. Be a little bit better. So let's see. That's PAX East. I'm going to be on the panel Hidden Gems, which I'm excited about, as I said. Which is a cool panel about like things to check out at PAX. It's on Friday at like 11 a.m. But the idea with that being that like I'll come up on Thursday and to be able to try some games out, so that I'm walking in like, hey, here's what I played. So I'll try to be able to tell the audience about some cool stuff they should check out. Which I think will be pretty cool. And then, yeah. And then I haven't heard. I was submitted on a couple panels, but I don't know if those got in. So we'll see. Also, this year, it happened. Oftentimes, PAX East is bad for folks because it is the same weekend as, or is the weekend directly after GDC, so it's bad for devs. This weekend, it's the same weekend as C2E2 in Chicago, which doesn't affect a lot of people, but does affect people I know and enjoy, which is a bummer. I will try my best to get as many of your panels as I can. Well, Harold, I appreciate that very much, of course, as always, my friend. I do appreciate your support. Yeah, if you can make it out, please make it out. If you can't, I understand, and that's fine. C2E2 is a comics and entertainment convention in Chicago. It is pretty big. It is not a Reed Pop convention as far as I know. I don't believe so. But it is a big convention that exists in Chicago, and it is often around February or March. It's also too close to South. Yes. Yeah, Lashbrook. So, without going into a lot of details, because I only know so many of them anyway, I can't give you a full picture. But so the Boston Convention Center, Leo just subscribed tier 1. That's 5 months on a 5-month streak. Thank you so much, Leo. Please throw some emotes in there as I prep. If folks want to renew, apparently 30 days ago was a big push for people to subscribe because all of their subscriptions have ended. And I do know that a few of those people were gift subs. There was a Silver Streak gifted a few subs last month. But yeah, I'm down some subscribers, which is a shame. And I would love to get those back up. Our subscriber goal is 40 people. Epic Open World to subscribe with Twitch Prime. That's 11 months on a total 2-month streak. Thank you very much, Epic. But yeah, if you use Twitch Prime, you got to manually renew that, and I do appreciate everyone who does. So the way that the Boston Convention Center works is seniority of picking dates. Not that people lock in dates every year and it's the same date. Is the longer you've been doing things at the convention center, the earlier in order you can pick your weekend. So while common sense to most people is you pick the same weekend, like the third weekend of March. Every year we're the third week of March. Apparently, people want different weekends. Apparently. So PAX, Reed doesn't get their picks as early in like some other people do, and that leads to some frustrations. Namely that we don't get the stuff that we would like, and you end up with things like GDC leading into it, or it being just only a couple weeks after PAX South, which means that like there are people that have to choose one or the other. Some of whom, yeah. I think you said earlier, Fangamer, because of MagFest also being in the beginning of January, Fangamer couldn't do South, and it makes sense. Also, Fangamer like has to get product. They're there to sell things, and so they probably couldn't swing not just doing a convention, but having inventory to properly do those conventions so close to one another and getting people out and materials out and all of that. Like, that's expensive and it adds up. So it makes sense that they would have to make tough decisions. I kept saying this is the year I was going to do South. This is the year I was going to do South. And then like found out the dates for East and was like, no, I'm not doing South. I would like to. The EZ Bake Challenge is happening. The first year I went to PAX East was Easter weekend. Yes. I know it sounds crazy, but maybe should build their own PAX Convention Center. Yeah, Epic. I believe land owning property is like I'm sure that Reed, the people of Reed who run the PAXs along with other things, have sometimes thought about getting into the owning convention centers, but that might be a bit of not a conflict of interest, but that might be different. And then they would have to rent out the convention center to other places, other conventions and stuff, and that's a whole thing. It's just a different business. Yeah, I don't know if that would be doable. Okay, so these don't get glue. We're putting the shocks up. These shocks are not real. They're not like sliding shocks like the A86 had. They're just plastic, but they should still work in there. PAX Cruise is a thing that I've always wondered. I think that like it would have to be the major problem with PAX Cruise is making a reality, because I'm sure that there's been conversations and documents drafted and discussions, but the real issue with that, in my opinion, would be it would have to be PAX Unplugged, the cruise, and it would have to be like you wouldn't have like video game developers on a cruise ship demoing. Like maybe you could do like Indicate, maybe just the logistics of it. And I know that I don't know. My thought is that I've always been surprised that TwitchCon hasn't been on a cruise ship. That was the thing that would surprise me, because I thought that would be a no-brainer. It'd be a terrible time. You really want that many nerds out to see, hey, Epic Open World, it happens all the time. Got the Jonathan Colton cruise, Joko cruise. Maximum Fun did a cruise for a couple times. They're out there. Believe me, the Jonathan Colton cruise is the nerdiest thing that exists on open seas. The real reality is that Chris Jericho's wrestling cruise is going to be, that's going to be a thing, man. One of my favorite things about cruise ship stuff is, so nobody sets out with enough people for a whole boat, so you end up just having part of a boat for your thing, and then eventually you might maybe someday get enough people involved consistently to justify continuously like having all of a boat. So you all should look up after the stream. Look up the Gronk cruise. Gronk and family did a cruise, which you can imagine folks that would be excited about a Gronk cruise, but they didn't have enough people for a whole boat or like the upfront costs for all that. So there was just other people, like old people on a cruise ship, and then also the kind of folks where a big guest was Mojo Rawley from the WWE, like the partying wrestler. Like it was, all intents and purposes, a nightmare. And apparently also incredible. Uh, but that is like, read up about that cruise because it sounds incredible. All right, I'm just going to apply some glue that I wasn't thinking about applying before. Just try to get this attached here. Having some issues getting this to attach to this, the right spots, and getting the wheels attached and all that. During the Pro Skater stream the week John admitted, there's been discussion to do GB cruise. Yeah, so that was I don't know for sure, but that was one of the plans in the Giant Bomb World Tour. One of their plans in the Whiskey Media days, the Calcion Whiskey, the old Whiskey Media days. All right, I'm gonna take the wheels off here so I can focus up and figure out what I'm doing wrong. Was the idea that they would, if they got enough subscribers when they went to the subscription model, one of the plans was to like travel more and do more shows and like not just PAXs, but like go to other cities and do other conventions and like do like meetups in different places. Like, like, oh, we're going to go to New York. We're going to go to Chicago. We're going to go to whatever. We'll be in Los Angeles. We're going to be in Vegas. Like, that was one of the plans for that, which, of course, didn't happen. But, yeah. And then, of course, there were discussions about a cruise, especially with Joko Cruise being a thing. Could they pull that off? Basically, Epic. What kind of funny it does that? Yeah, like and so the idea was kind of doing like an Unprofessional Friday or the Whiskey Media Hour, but do it like as a live show and figure out what a touring show was going to be, and it wouldn't be it'd be Giant Bomb, but also like somebody from Tested would come, and there'd be a segment from something else, and blah blah blah, and they would do a whole thing, and it was grand and ambitious. But like some of the early plans, bad. I don't know if it's archived anywhere, but you might be able to find in Giant Bomb, where I say, I became a member, but I feel like I was forced to become one. Yes, Epic Open World. When they did the shows at PAX and they did live shows, the GameStop stage, GameSpot stage, I should say, at PAX. There's 2 years at PAX West where they kind of did events. That's kind of the closest we got to that. I was mad back in the membership days because I was like, oh, I guess I'll become a member. I like these people. But there was talk. The original plan was they were going to gate part of the podcast. So only the first hour would be available for that week, and then the next week you would get so you just get like what I've been playing this week and news, and then like emails and other nonsense would be like the following week. And they announced that, and then they announced, well, if we get a certain number of members, we won't do that. And then I don't remember if they hit that number or if they just pulled back. And I've never talked to Giant Bomb folks about this, so I don't know if it was like their idea or if it was like, we have to do this because we have to hit a threshold immediately or what. I don't know what it was, but it didn't fucking feel good as a subscriber. So I basically was just like, I feel like I'm becoming a subscriber because I don't want to lose out. And I didn't know what was going to be subscriber only. I didn't know like what the deal was going to be or any of that. It was that instead of adding things, they were taking things away. And I still contend to this day that you don't take things away. If you want to add things, you can add them, but you don't take things away. that you're adding content, you're adding support, you're adding whatever you want to add, but you're not saying, oh well, if you like this thing, you gotta pay money to get the whole thing you liked. So that never actually ended up happening, but it was, yeah. It never actually came to be, but it was a threat that was bad. So the thing is that, like, the membership thing in general was awesome because you got cool content. You could download video. This was before they started putting all their stuff up on YouTube, and you could just rip the YouTube stuff. But, like, when things didn't always go up on YouTube right away, being able to download for me at my time, that time for me, was, like, really convenient and nice. And then, like, yeah, there was just a bunch of stuff that was, like, weird about that time. But it also felt like, well, I want this to continue, so I'll give them money. Because also, like, I wasn't doing other things on the site or on the sites. Like, I listened to the Tested podcast, and that was it. I didn't even go to Tested. I had nothing to do with Screen Junkies. I didn't go to Comic Vine. Anime Vice, I think, like, folded or was just like a repository and just, like, not really a thing. Although I would have liked it in the heyday when it was an attempt to be a thing. So I didn't really engage with the other shows. So it was just like, well, It was rough. It was a rough time. I'm having a lot. Speaking of rough time, I'm having a lot of trouble getting this attached properly. I know I don't glue this part, but this has got to get attached somehow here. And part of the thing is that I'm, like, not confident. I guess that's definitely an issue that I'm running into here. Is just a lack of confidence in my abilities to do this properly. But yeah, this is not adhering in a way that it should, and that is that's making me frustrated. So I apologize that I am frustrated with this. But this is not adhering in a way that it should. Alright, we'll do this. So these are going to go. Which is back. Yep, so it goes on that, goes on that. Okay. So these are going to go here. Now I don't glue this part. So this just lives there. We do know that. And then this, which is attached but not glued at all in any way, shape, or form to that, does get glued on the sides here. So these two pieces go here and here, and it lives like this, and that's how that looks. And then it'll be adhered there, and then this goes in that and like that. Okay. All right. Hello, the Hollow. Happy to have you here. What was that side of the car? I somehow thought it would be bigger. So yeah, so it's a I believe it's 124 scale. I mean, it's a decent size when it's all done. Like, here's a good indication. This is. I mean, it's zoomed in. This is the. Here we go. Yeah, this will be good. Here's the length of the car. This is what the car is going to look like. It's a pretty decent size for a a kit. Or yeah, or you can use this as a scale. But yeah, hi, the Hollow. Happy to have you here. Working on this car kit. We're building a car, making it happen. I have been running into all sorts of issues trying to get this to work because I am not super familiar with glue kits in general. So I am doing my best. Do it as we do it. But yeah, in a little bit, we'll take a pause for the cause, talk about ways you can support the stream. As always, if you'd like to become a subscriber, a reminder that you've used your Twitch Prime coin, you got to manually renew. You got to renew it because it doesn't do it for you. And a big drop in numbers because of that. And it is annoying to see. But also, you don't have to. You don't have to become a subscriber. You can if you want to, but you're under no obligation to do so. All right. So these are going to go in like this. We do know that. And then put this here. Put this here. No, we'll just do this just for funsies. I think it's part of it is that some of this doesn't get glued because they want to have movement, but you still have to like have them set a little bit in a location to then get the other parts glued. So it is a balancing act that I'm not great at right now. At least when I did the A86, it had springs, so you could like it had tension, but you could still line things up properly and get them where they need to be. Whereas this is a lot of like, I think this is right. This seems right. This seems right, which I don't like. I don't like saying this seems right and then hoping I'm not wrong. If that makes any sense. Especially since we're dealing with glue. And when I say glue, of course, I mean liquid cement. You know that's what I mean. All right. Nope, that's wrong. God. All right. It is an initial D car. You're totally right. This is the Red Suns, Keske from the Red Suns, the number 2 racer on the Red Suns. His specially tuned car. I'm happy to put together the FD3S. It's the FD, not the FC. It's the FD. All right, so that's where it's going to go. That should adhere there. We can put some pressure down, and then we'll just shove this in. That's what we're going to do. When in doubt, force it to work. Okay. Then if I put this there, that's what I should have done. Put it where I wanted and then just wedge the parts together. All right. This almost looks right. Oh boy. Having some real trouble with this one here. Not sure why, but having some real trouble. So this looks like this. No. Yeah. Uh, glue it on the roof of the car. That would fix it. Yes, there you go. I mean, the reality is there's other parts of step 3. We could just skip to the other parts, and I can do this part off stream. But I don't want to do that. I want to like build as we go and follow the instructions and have my failures and successes show up on stream. Because that's how we do it. Much rather do that than what I'm currently doing, which is just failing. So we'll see. Oh, it also wants me to clip off the front of this. That's right. Just seems so weird. It's like take an X-Acto knife and break part of this plastic. It just doesn't feel right to do at all. I'll do the rest of that off stream. I'll get my X-Acto knife and clean that up. But yeah, I had to take a piece of the front off. I don't think that's going to be the reason that this suddenly, I don't think that's going to suddenly make this work, is that step I hadn't done, I did, and now suddenly this is all going to work out. But we'll see. But yeah, we might move on just because I'm being frustrated. I'm frustrated, which is fine. Because we will take a pause of the calls in a moment or two, and then I will talk about some of the shows I've been watching, because I got things to say about some shows. And I think that'll be fun. We'll be able to talk about a few things coming out in the world of anime. There's still one show debuting tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be on. I'm hoping it's on Hulu so I can watch that. Because I talked about it. That show about the guy who's got a head of a lizard, and he's trying to figure out what happened, and he's immune to magic, so he's going to track down other magic users, trying to figure out who he is and why he has a lizard head now. I think that debuts tomorrow, and I don't know where it's going to be, but I'm hoping that it's... Because right now, most shows that are on Funimation also end up on Hulu. There's only like 2 that I think that don't, because whatever reason they're Anime Labs, which is... Anime Labs is Australia, New Zealand, like streaming focused, but sometimes they have things, and then because they have it, like Hulu doesn't get it, and I don't understand that. Whatever. Last season that happened with Dumbbells. Dumbbells is only on Funimation, and then it was on Anime Labs as well, and so it wasn't on Hulu, and I don't understand, but whatever. I think the season, like I said, there's that Dragon show is the only show, the steampunk show where they're going to get dragons is on Netflix, which I don't have right now, and that's the only service that I'm like, oh, well, I won't watch that show. If he has a lizard head, does it mean he eats lizard food? Epic, I don't believe so. He does bite the heads off of people, not off. He does bite people by the head, so they enter some sort of mystical space. I don't. It seems really weird, y'all, and I want to watch it. But that so far is the only show that hasn't debuted yet that I'm interested in. Yes, he's a lizard that eats wizards. You're totally right, Ultron. That is a legitimate statement you can make about this show. It's the wizard lizard anime. I don't know. But it looks neat, and so I'm going to check it out. Harold just redeemed. Play the soundboard. Okay, Harold, here we go. And of course, and everyone's favorite, Thank you, Harold, for using your points on the soundboard. The most popular thing people do. Someone should make that in a cool indie game. But yeah, no, I appreciate that people use their points for the soundboard. And then what was it? 2 nights ago, somebody used their points to just promote a thing, and I thought that was kind of fun. Though, like using the ask a question, but then just being like, "Help out these people, they're great." I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." All right, so we're gonna let this set first, and then we'll put the wheel things on. And while we're letting that part set, let's assemble the back pieces, and we can glue those in place too. So we're not skipping, we're resting. I want to get a little bit more done before we take a pause for the cause, and then I'll talk about the shows, because I'm not going to get too deep into a show that I watched today that is an ongoing that I know some people really care a lot about, but it was so fucking cool that I got to talk about these motherfuckers. Some good shit going on in the world of My Hero Academia. Some real good shit. Real good fighting shit. That was so fucking crazy. Yeah, Leo. Hi, Leo. Yeah, we're going to talk about it after the pause of the cause. I want to put this tank on here. We're gonna add that to here. I don't know where this goes. They don't do a good job of showing me. Dot says that goes in there, but I don't see a peg. It's glued. I mean, I glue it. I just don't know. So I'm gonna look ahead, see if I can see. Oh, okay. Just goes in the middle. All right. So it goes in the middle, like that. To the back here. That's where it goes, because gotta run the there. Yeah. Okay. So that goes just that. All right. So we'll attach that in a second. The dub is a week behind, but I'm excited to see that scene animated. Yeah, Lashbrook, it was, oh boy, it was cool as hell. Our boy Deku, best boy. Deku continues to be the best boy. Not nominated for best boy this year at the Anime Awards, even though it's because it's an ongoing, and ongoings don't always get all the love. No nominations in any category for Black Clover, which is a fucking bummer. I talked about this. I talked about it in the video. I'll talk about it when we actually do the award ceremony live stream, which will happen. The fight category, best fight, is real bad, man. No Black Clover. No Fire Force. And then also, best fight did not include Garo from season 2 of One Punch Man versus the 6 heroes. That fight was fucking rad and great. It totally should have been nominated. I mean, look, everybody knows Demon Slayer's going to win that. Vinland Saga might, because people are fucking crazy for Vinland Saga, which I don't think it's fine, but I don't think it's great. But oh boy, like those beautiful, beautiful fights in that beautiful, beautiful fight scene. The mob fight is nominated, the last big fight, but as much as I love the animation in Mob Psycho Season 2, I think that sometimes it was a little disorienting, which is a plus in some fights, but not in all fights. I think sometimes they were like, "This is wild and weird," and it's these people with these psychic abilities getting wild and weird with it, and like that's fine, but sometimes it was hard to tell what was going on. Had to rewatch some of them, so also it's cathartic, the Demon Slayer, because it's about, the show's about found family because it's shonen, but it's also about real family. It's Tanjiro pulling off some magic because it's based on a dance that his father did, and so he's unlocking an ability that he shouldn't necessarily have. And it's Nezuko assisting her brother because for a moment the spirit of her mother wakes her up and lets her focus. And so it's like brother and sister with assistance from their parents, like getting the job done and doing something that they shouldn't be able to do. And it also looks fucking incredible. And when the blood, the demon blood magic and the fire magic like combined, it's just look, that fight in Demon Slayer is the best fight of the year. Like, it's incredible. And then there was like a Fate Grand Order like nominated. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, Fate. You're not. No. That fight was kind of cool looking, but not really. Get that CG mess out of here. Comparatively, it's nowhere near as cool. Alright. Ranting. Also, hey, I'm giving you more homework, y'all. We're going to take a pause for the cause in just a moment. Your homework is to watch the end credits song for the tennis anime Stars Align. Stars Align, an anime I have not watched because I don't watch sports anime that often, if ever. So I have not watched it. But I do know the music from it because the music from it rips. The closing theme is a lovely interlude of all the cast members, like in different combinations or sets of them, dancing, and you really get a feel for the characters and like their personalities and who they are. It's like a good song, but it's mostly just like a really excellent showcase of the characters in the show and like a good like look at it. Epic. I mean, I know you're joking. It's not that I'm anti-tennis. It's that I'm generally and I do explain this in the video, so I am repeating myself. If people watch what's coming out on Monday, if people watch that episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club, but the gist of it is this. The truth of it is, I like a particular style of sports anime, and it is I just found out I'm great at this. Oh, I just discovered this whole world, and I'm so excited to partake in this whole world that I just discovered. It's that kind of anime. So it's not like that sumo anime. The sumo anime is the opposite. The sumo anime is this. I'm very good at this thing, and this thing rules, and y'all need to come around on how rad the shit I'm into is. Which is that one, which is Haikyuu, the volleyball. Like they're good at volleyball, and they're going to get better at volleyball, and you better respect volleyball. I'm into like there's an anime about like long distance biking as a sport, like cycling, and there's a kid who joins it and like gets good at it and discovers how awesome it is. And that's like way more cool. There were those clips of Stars Align that had a pretty genuine discussion of gender. I mean, I look. Don't get me wrong. I hear it's like nominated for best drama. I hear that like there's things about it that are really engaging and interesting. I watched the first episode, which also involves uh, our dude getting like smacked in the face by an adult who's taking advantage of his family, and like there's some real shit going on in that show. So don't get me wrong, like it might be incredible. I just know that I'm not super into sports anime. Like the thing I was most interested in about the badminton anime is that the badminton anime involves like the best badminton in the world who like was so good she forgot how good she was, and it's about her like accidentally getting back into badminton and becoming a nightmare person again. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I'm kind of interested in that. Like, I don't know. That's my thing when it comes to sports anime. It's just that, like, oh, this little short guy got good at basketball and throwing free throws. So now people are excited about being on a basketball team with him. I'm like, I don't care about that show. Sorry. That show could be great, but I'm not interested right now. Okay, so time for a pause for the cause. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, throw the Bear Cave emote, throw the Lego emote, throw the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know that you're a subscriber. Very much appreciate if you are. We'll go through a quick pause for the cause. We're not going to spend too much time because I do want to get back to building, but we're letting stuff dry, which is good for everybody. So let me just go into Nightbot, check out some Nightbot commands here to say, oh, I didn't update my anime one, so I'll have to do that manually. I forgot to update that. I have a Patreon. You can join my Patreon if you'd like to. You're more than welcome to. If not, that's okay. But it does support things. Becoming a subscriber is important and great. And Patreon is another way. Any money I make goes to buying kits and equipment and gear and all that equipment. I bought some cheap snipper clips. I have an Amazon wish list. At the very bottom are more expensive snipper clips that I put up. You could buy those if you wanted to. You could also buy a kit for me to build so that I don't buy them with my money. I buy them with your money. There's a very 200 and something piece kit. The Marvel Superheroes kit is currently 20% off and it's $16, which is a good price for a licensed property in Lego. It's Thor's Weapon Quest. It looks like a couple of little vehicles and some cool minifigs. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on there you could purchase if that's something you'd like to do, and then I'll build it on the stream. That's how that works. Yeah, that is another Whisper stream. At the very bottom, I have a new chair, because that would be nice eventually to get a new chair. But also at the very bottom is a pair of snipper clips that are better than the ones that I've gotten. They're actually better than the ones that I used to have. Again, under no obligation for anyone to do that. You can also buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store, and then I would build that. If you want to do that, you could do that. It's pretty good to do that. And then join my Discord. People post photos of stuff they work on. It's a cool place. It's a nice place. It's a good place to be. You can join my Discord. This is also all in the show description if you're watching this later on YouTube. And if you're watching this on Twitch and the VOD, just look at my page. Go to twitter.com/PatBaer. And you can find stuff out there. Also, let's see. We'll talk about anime, but I have to link that. Baering the List is a new series that I started on Wednesday. It's going to be every Wednesday. I've got a new series called Baering the List. It is a tier ranking thing. I did all of the characters, or all of the students in Class 1A from My Hero Academia. Every week will be a different list. I just recorded today next week's list. It is not about anime. Sometimes it will be about anime. Sometimes it will not be about anime. This next one, not about anime. But it will be still a good one, and you should check it out. And then speaking of anime, I'm going to talk about 4 shows. And all of them are on Crunchyroll. So it's this weird thing where, uh, like, all of the stuff that I'm watching that I can talk about on Thursday is on Hulu, except for one. And all of the stuff I'm going to talk about on Monday is on Crunchyroll. And all the stuff I'm talking about right now is on Crunchyroll. And it's weird because it didn't look like Crunchyroll was going to have stuff that I was going to watch mostly. But it ended up being a lot of it there. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to drink a little water. But yeah, that's the anime that I watched. So, interesting case here with Science Fell in Love, so I tried to prove it. Not a sponsor, but maybe a sponsor. Yeah. So, just to clarify, Crunchyroll, I have a Verve account, which I only use at Crunchyroll. I should go to Verve. I just don't. I have a Crunchyroll account, and all that means is that somebody pays for that, and then I can just watch anime, which is great. There's no restrictions, there's no guidance, there's nothing like that. I've never had a conversation about that. It's just with the understanding that, like, yeah, you talk about anime a lot, so we'll make this happen. Which is great because it allows me to be honest and earnest about the stuff I'm watching. Science Fell in Love, so I tried to prove it, is a romantic comedy about, like, high school science club researching love, and it is all of the highs and lows of that. 3 episodes are out. It's weird. Okay, so this is really weird. Let me tell you the deal with this thing. So they put out 3 episodes on Friday, with the understanding and the idea that now, from this point on, it will be weekly. And you're like, well, why didn't they put them out 3 weeks ago? Well, because in Japan, it's an Amazon Prime show, and they put out all the episodes. So if you can understand Japanese, you don't need subtitles. You could just watch it on Amazon Prime Japan, and you don't, it's all out there. The whole season's done. So instead of putting the whole season up, Crunchyroll just put the first 3 up, which I'm not sure why, but that's the decision they made to do, which is odd, but okay. So yeah, so that's like, if you want to watch that show. I only watched the first 2, just because I don't know if I'm going to keep watching it. I'll probably watch the 3rd one next week. Generally, I do give shows 2 to 3 episodes, and then stuff that I skipped, like Inspector is out, but I didn't watch that yet. I'm waiting to hear. It sounds like people like Inspector. It's IN / Spectre, but it's Inspector. There's some kind of there's an idea to it that seems not bad, so I'm interested in checking that out. But I didn't watch it this week because I'm waiting to see people's reaction. I'm waiting to see if clips start showing up online, that kind of thing. If people are into it. But yeah, Science Fell in Love seems okay. I don't mind a good comedy. I don't a good romantic comedy. That's up my alley. That's my jam. So yeah, I'm waiting to see if the characters, if there are more characters that are interest me. Asteroid in Love, I think I'm done with. Asteroid in Love. I'm not interested in any of the characters right now. I think the premise was kind of fun at first. I was kind of hoping the idea that, oh, this girl and the boy that she was talking to made a pact when they were kids that they were going to do a thing, and now they're doing that thing, but it turns out that that guy was a girl, and what does that mean? And it doesn't seem like it means anything, which that's what I wanted it to mean something. What I'm trying to say is, I was like, oh, is this show going to be gay? And it's not, as far as I could tell. And I'm like, we're a little less interested in that. little less interested in what I've been shown. So, like I said, not super invested right now in that show. Would be happy to uh, be proven wrong, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch next week. Just really didn't appeal to me. Let's see. What else? Oh, welcome to Demon School. So, the second half of this show apparently is getting into plot. We're in episode like 15 or whatever of like 24, and the plot's picking up. This show is a comedy, classified as a comedy. Not nominated for Best Comedy. I mean, it came out at the end of the year and is going into this year, so I can maybe understand why it wasn't nominated. But I do think that it's genuinely funny. But yeah, we're getting like, it's this weird thing where it's a fun show and they're doing funny, silly things, but as an audience, we know that like a bad thing's gonna happen. Like we know, we've been set up to know that, oh shit, some stuff's gonna go down and things are gonna break bad here. Like we know that, and so it's weird to watch it knowing that like at some point soon, any episode now, like the shit's gonna hit the fan and people could get hurt, but we also know that it's a comedy, and so like people probably won't get super hurt, one would assume, and like maybe someone's gonna learn something and there'll be like lessons, and I'm not sure how it works out, but it's kind of interesting to not really know, even though it's a comedy, like there might be some moments of drama. Overall, still a good show. I'm kind of liked it more when it was lighter on plot than it is right now. So that is a bit of a detriment to the show. Is that like I kind of don't like what they're doing with it. But overall, it's still good. Okay, so let's go with this. And then the last show I'll talk about is My Hero Academia, which came out today. And holy shit, Deku. Deku is best boy, y'all. Deku is best boy. There is no looking around it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. When you're talking about best boys, you're talking about good boys who don't stop and make things work. You're talking about Deku. He's best power boy. I mean, he's just the best boy. He's making so much good shit happen. He's getting things done. He's learning as he works. He's thinking through. His internship with Night Eye is already paying dividends because you can already, like, he's already a guy that planned things out. But he's becoming more adaptable and working harder and figuring stuff out. And he accidentally figures something out huge. So we get to see like a different Deku, like a very different version of Deku, because he can like do some shit that he wasn't expecting to be able to do. Well, he was expecting to pay for it. He was like, I'm going to do this. This is going to suck. And then it didn't suck. And then he's just like, wait, why didn't this suck ass? This was supposed to hurt a lot. This didn't hurt. What'd I do? What happened? And it's great, man. They also, there is flashbacks with a character that explain some shit that is good. I said this earlier, so no, I'm trying not to give spoilers, especially because the dub is a week behind, and I didn't know that. But I know that people have said flat out, please don't spoil stuff for this show if you can. So I am doing my best not to spoil things for My Hero Academia. But so Overhaul is listed as is best antagonist, and up until recently, I disagreed with that. I disagreed that Overhaul was a good antagonist. Lately, he's been as he becomes a guy who's been fighting and you start to understand how he feels about people and things and his motivations and his utter just complete nonsense, he's become a better villain. Uh, but it is so yeah, we got a metal rod here that we're putting in. Got a little copper rod going in here. But yeah, he's become a better villain, and his reasoning has become more clear. And they also explain how a thing happened that happened a couple episodes ago that I was like, how did that happen? They explained it. Hooray. All right, so this is going in here. And then we're going to put the wheels in. And we're going to glue everything. Where did I put those pegs? Okay, great. Put this here. So I'm going to push this peg in just a little bit. Because I don't... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'll push this in here. I'm going to have to use tweezers for this. But yeah, Deku is the best. If you're not caught up, get caught up. If you're watching the dub, I'm excited for you to watch it next week. Because it fucking ruled. Ruled school. And yeah, One Piece has been interesting. I'll talk about One Piece on Monday. Like I said, I have at least one new show debuting tomorrow that I'm excited about, and being able to watch that. Oops. I didn't realize the dub was close behind. Yeah, apparently it is, which is cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good for y'all. Oops. Shoot. This came apart. Alright, I gotta reattach this stuff. I think I am too quick. I don't let things dry enough. Which will be good when it's time for when I let things set for 2 days. But I believe that I am I'm not giving time for things to set. And that is bad. I need to give more time for things to set, which will only benefit the build. So yeah, so when I come back to this on Monday, it'll be awesome. But right now, I end up with things that just kind of fall apart because I'm not patient. So trying to be more patient. Builds, okay. But yeah, that's the anime I'm watching. Asteroid in Love is the one that I'm like, meh, but I don't know. I'm excited also for tomorrow for the second episode of Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin, because that art style is so cool and it looks so neat, and I'm excited about where it's going to go, because it just seems like such a cool show. That I'm very excited to see where that leads, because it just looks neat, and is a cool. People love anime about anime. And this is a show about loving anime and character designs, and it's really imaginative, and what they're thinking it could look like is really unique and cool as they're trying to piece things together and make a thing and collaborate. It's just cool. The dub was the same day, but a couple weeks ago there was some sort of delay. Okay. Yes, I thought that was a simulcast. Okay, so they just got behind. That makes sense. But yeah. But that was originally going to be a simulcast, so. Sounds like they ran into production delays. Somebody got sick or something, maybe. Something went on. Maybe it was the holidays or something like that. They just couldn't get things together. I made a kind of offhand joke. So, Best English Voice Actor came up for the Anime Awards, and I don't watch dubs, so I wasn't sure who I was going to vote for that. I mean, I ended up going with the voice actor of Shinji. One, because I think it's going to win because they want to give Evangelion an award because it's cool to give Evangelion an award. And it's the only thing they're nominated in because otherwise it was just a re-release of the dub or a new version of the dub. But also because all accounts, that person did a very good job with Shinji. So I would like to support that. And it's also cool to have a non-binary person voice a iconic character like that. That's rad. So so that was an easy vote. But I listened to a little bit of some of the other people, and uh, I I feel for those simuldub folks out there because some of that sounds real bad. Not all of it, but some of it didn't sound good. Like the voice actor for Naofume, the Shield hero, really sounds like he's under a lot of pressure to finish all his to like. It just feels like every line he says feels like real rushed and real like they don't have time for a second take. Because I'm sure they don't. But boy, I'm glad I don't watch simuldubs. Yeah, because some of that just didn't sound good. And so, sorry if that's how you consume your anime. I'm glad it's not how I do it. As it is, sometimes the Crunchyroll subtitles aren't great, and Hulu's subtitles are usually good. It's just that sometimes they don't they often but don't always. It depends on the show. Sometimes the Hulu subtitles don't have like text like in a book or on a phone. Sometimes a few of those slip through the cracks, and that's frustrating. I would love for that not to be a thing. All right, so just gonna tack this in place here. Working on our muffler. We'll let that sit for a nice long time. That's what I'm trying to do here right now. Is just do stuff that lets components sit for a really long time and really let them dry. Because I think that is a mistake that I'm making otherwise. Then we finally get a little more yellow in here in our car that will look very yellow because we won't see this stuff when it's done. I finally watched season 3 of Attack on Titan after last watching season 2 as it aired. That sure got bananas. Leo, I'm going to talk about Attack on Titan because you brought it up, and I appreciate you bringing it up. So when I talk about my issues, first I'll say this. Sometimes you are told what a show is by the they're telling you what the show is. They're like, here's what the show is. They're setting it up, and it's not that. It's something else, right? It's a fake out. It's actually deeper or more or different. An example recently is Dr. Stone. The first couple episodes of Dr. Stone, you're like, oh, they're going to go on a quest. They're going to try to find. We see there is some sort of civilization. We can see the opening cinematic. Something's going to happen. They're going to figure things out. They're going to save humanity. We're going along for the ride as they figure things out, right? But that's not the case. It's actually two of the characters that we're introduced to disappear for most of the season, the double season. It becomes a science genius tries to do some cool science shit with a bunch of people who are survivors, generations and generations of people that were there, like who don't really know what's going on. It's a different story. It's a different thing than we were told. And that's Attack on Titan. Because Attack on Titan is set up as post-apocalypse or post-apocalyptic event. There are these giant beasts they don't know anything about. People are safe, kind of, and these humans have found ways to fight back. And they're doing their best to fight back. And that's the show, right? It's going to be like struggles, and they're going to figure things out, and they're going to get things done, and they're going to grow, and people are going to die, and they'll find like new ways to fight and maybe new technology or something. There'll be something, and it's going to grow and change. That's not Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is about a woman who years ago was a slave and gave over power to become this incredible creature. And then her offspring devoured her after she died. And each of them got some of her powers. And all of them had the ability to become titans. And people of her bloodline who don't have those abilities can become mindless titans. But if any of them consume one of the descendants that have her abilities, they become a special kind of titan. That's Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is about people that become titans. That was not what I was sold. And also, to me anyway, not as cool as the other idea. The other idea, this like unbeatable thing, and how does humanity survive in the face of this, is not as interesting to me as magical abilities that some people have, and now the real doesn't even happen until... Yeah, so like where they got the powers isn't until like now. They finally explain that. But I'm saying like the idea of Eren becoming a Titan and a Titan fighting other Titans is like what the show is about, but not what I wanted at all. That's not the show I wanted to watch at all. And now it's like growing and changing, and like, you know, the betrayals, and these people were Titans, and this person ate that, and this person consumed that, and we didn't know this thing, and this thing happened, and Ymir was helping them, but she's only doing that like they didn't know. She ate their friend, and now she has their friend's powers, and so they have to be cool about that, and all this shit happens that sucks, and I don't care about it. It's just weird, man. Yes. Look, it's up for best fight scene. I don't think it should win because to me, Levi versus the Beast Titan is more cathartic than it is super cool. It's satisfying, but I don't think it's like the best fight scene of the year. But it is cool. Yes, them putting money into all of Levi's fights in the past few seasons have been totally worth everything that we've been dealing with about the show. But overall, for the most part, I don't think Attack on Titan is like good. And then add in that by all counts, that dude is a shitty fascist asshole. Like, that creator sucks ass. And so it's like, okay, cool. I don't have the receipts for that one. But, like, that dude sucks. So, even more reason to be like, okay, great. It's just getting into a weird thing. And then, like, oh, well, if you have this ability, you can command the other Titans. And it's like, well, that's convenient. That's really fucking convenient. You can just command the other Titans to do shit, huh? Cool. You got a real cool anime here, dude. A real cool show. Yes, also, Levi versus the Beast Titan is not an epic thing, which in some way, or long. It is epic, it's just not long, which in some ways is cool. That it's like, oh, he fucking wrecked that thing. I think I have a copy of the manga. It was in Loot Crate. Yeah, there's stuff. I mean, there's stuff that's cool. Uh, yeah, yes. I mean, Aaron throughout has been interesting. He goes some places as far I believe that might be interesting in the show in the long run, where he ends up as a character. Uh, but yeah, the lore. There's just a lot of nonsense in that show, just a lot. Where I'm like, man, I know this was the plan all along. Or look, I don't know if this is the plan. I have to imagine that the planning stages of Attack on Titan was, I got these monsters, I got these people, but one of my dudes is going to become a monster that I'm making. And won't that be cool? And then he was like, well, why? And then he was like, well, it's not just him, though, right? I'll have to have other ones. And it's like, okay, now I'm doing other ones. And here we go. And this is the thing that I'm going to spend, okay. And then, well, if this is the case, then this is going to be the case, too. And it's this whole thing where I'm like, man, this is not what I signed up for. And as I said, let's be real, folks. If you dig it, you dig it. If that's your show, that's your show. I'm not here to say that people, whatever, like, the only thing I'll say is that if you wish that Domestic Girlfriend had gotten more nominations other than Best Song, which the entrance song is sequence and song to Domestic Girlfriend does rip, but that's a garbage show, and you should feel bad if you were like, oh, that's one of my favorite shows of the year. No. I deleted a comment from someone on my YouTube saying like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Domestic Girlfriend. And I was like, no. That's a garbage show. And believe me, I watch garbage shows. Oh, also it takes place in a pseudo. Yes, Leo. We find out later that not only is it not that it's a pseudo like post-apocalyptic event that happened there, but the other parts of the world have continued on somehow. So it's not even that didn't work. It's not even like what they originally claimed, which is like such a fucking cop out in order to have like more characters and more things happen. And it's also leading to a big reveal for motivation of a character and all this other shit that I'm like, I don't care about any of this. I just don't care about it. All right, I got to get these wheels on. I'm probably going to put a little actual adhesive on here so they say the village. Yes, it is. It has got signs of the village, indeed. Signs. No pun intended there. But yeah, Attack on Titan, like I said, it started off and I was like, this is pretty cool. And then it continued and I was like, this is not as cool. All right, and then we'll attach this wheel. All right, we finished step 4. I think a lot of this is just me not letting things set. So I got to let things set more as we continue to build. We're going to work on the dash here. So I am not going to apply these decals right now, but I will do it later. Well, actually, how would I do that? Well, we're not going to assemble this part anyway, tonight, so I'll probably do it. I guess I'll attach them. I don't have my water with me, so I guess on Monday I will put these on. We'll just start assembling it, the other parts of it, because it'll never be easier to put the decals on here, the water transfers on here that I've got here. These will never be easier to apply than they will right now. Also, this kit is older. You never know if they'll work at all. Sometimes water transfers just don't fucking work. You never know, really, unfortunately. Older ones sometimes just don't work, which is fun. Anyway, I'm done. I think I'm done complaining about anime shit for one night. I will say, not super like. There's no like this is the banger. A lot of the bangers are coming out in April. I feel like. I'm still interested in One Piece, although I do know that right now One Piece is going to spend a lot of time in this prison thing. There's a big prison is happening. So that's not super exciting. But I'm excited about My Hero. I'm excited about One Piece. I mean, I like the idea of room camp. I'm excited for that, but those are short little things. So, but yeah, I guess Beaufry is the show I'm most excited about of all these new ones because I know what Orphan is. And then the other one that I'm like might drop is Senton Academy. I talked about that last week when it debuted. But the fact that the women, the high school girls in the show are just humanoid with some fur and like tails and ears, and then the male characters are all like complete animals that just happen to stand up on their hind legs and talk, is really annoying. And should be, to me anyway, a good indication of what that show is going to be. But we'll see. They're going to introduce some new minor characters, and I'm excited to see who those characters are. And we'll see if this pink-haired wolf girl is as cool as I think she might end up being. Or at least funny. I don't know. The premise of Senton Academy I think is so strong, but the first episode didn't leave me super enthused about it. So we'll see. If you guys are watching anything, let me know. If you got anything going on. If you're watching anything on Funimation or Hulu or Crunchyroll, and you want to let me know about a show that you're engaged in. But yeah, I don't have anything that I'm like, this is the show of the season right now. And of course, Black Clover. The fights are heating up. Yami's getting out there, like doing his thing. I'm excited about that. A thing is about to happen in Black Clover that I know about because I got some stuff spoiled for me that is super fucking badass and cool. And a very minor character from the show, is finally making her presence known, and it's gonna be weird as hell. And cool. Cool and weird. You heard me. Lashbrook only has My Hero. Okay, well, it might be time to check out something else, my friend. Beaufry I thought looked pretty cool. Infinite Dendrogram could end up being okay. The fact that the dude's like unique item thing that evolved out ended up being a an NPC girl that turns into a sword is like, oh boy, uh-oh. It all ended. I did rewatch Castlevania today. Hell yeah. For the most part, it's still real good. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, look, there are going to be other shows. You're going to find other things to watch. Like, it's just that there aren't necessarily a lot of new things out there. You know, there's a bunch of new stuff, so hopefully you find something that you like. I should watch Plunderer. I don't think I'm going to like it. The preview of it, like I watched like a little, like, 5-minute preview of the first episode, and it didn't thrill me at all. I was like, this might be an interesting premise, but I don't know if this character is cool. Because he's one of those, like, I'm really actually powerful, but I'm going to act like an ass. I'm going to act like I'm not. And sometimes that's fun. Sometimes that's Kenshin. Or Vash. But sometimes that's just like the dude from, oh, it's recent. There's a Magical Records or something like that. There was some kind of show where like the main dude was like very competent, but was consistently acting like he wasn't competent because he was like running away from his responsibilities. And I remember that like thinking like this could be a great show if this character wasn't really annoying. Um, so yeah, so Plunderer could end up being good, but I don't know. And then what else is up? Yeah. I said I got one new show tomorrow to check out. I'm excited to check that out. And I will check out Inspector, which up until I said it out loud, I didn't realize was just a quote unquote clever way of writing Inspector. Because it is like investigations of paranormal stuff from a girl who was like her age is like frozen in time. And she ends up pairing up with like a dude. And I didn't realize that that was like a clever wordplay until I said it out loud tonight. And now I don't want to watch the show. And I was like, oh, damn it. You got me with your fucking wordplay. Inspector tracksuit. Yeah, no. No, Harold. I mean, I'd watch a tracksuit anime. Oh, God, I would watch a tracksuit anime. All right, I'm not going to do those inside decals. We both know I'm only going to do outside ones. The thing I'm going to do the license plates and I'm going to do Red Suns, and we all know that was what the thing was going to be. That I wasn't going to be doing other things. Got grand plans of doing tiny little intricate water transfers, and that's just not going to happen. We should be honest with ourselves. I'm not doing that. I do like that this has two different colored seats because, of course, his seat would be different than the passenger. Because why would he have a passenger other than like commuting to races or whatever? He has his cool custom seat for driving, for racing, and making things happen. All right, then we got to put some stuff here. We're getting some progress done on this kit. I'm excited about that. We'll keep working on it on a Monday. We have some snipper clips, and I can do some like filing and fine tooth work here. So excited about that. And then this is going to go like this. Yeah. I'm just going to put some liquid cement on here. And then one thing I have to remember to do is I have to remember to open a window and pull open my curtain here to let all the fumes out of the room, which not like there aren't many, but there are definitely more fumes than on a normal stream. And I have to remind myself that that's a thing to think about because I am using liquid cement. Off-brand of Dr. Tracksuit Ghostbusters. Yeah. Inspector Tracksuit. Well, you know, because here's the thing, because they already made a tracksuit cartoon years ago, so they can't call this new one the tracksuit cartoon. They got to call it something else, so they added real in the front of it, so it's the real tracksuit. You know, it's a legal thing. Blah blah. No, just kidding. Just goofing on yous. All right, so that's going to go like that. We're going to let that sit and set. And that's going to do it for this week's, or this stream. I'm going to do these next ones, the B7 and B8. Those I'll set now. But that is the stream. Thanks so much for watching. Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back to continue to work on this kit. Thank you for being here, Epic Open World and everybody else. Thank you all so much. We will, of course, end with an ad. You can watch it. You don't have to. If you're a subscriber, you probably won't see it anyway. And then I'll be back on good night to you, Harold. Thanks for staying for the whole stream. But I'll be back on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the next Build with Baer. So until then, goodbye.